Yeah, I just got it a second ago. Both of ours.
And I just streamed my channel live, so maybe we'll let people in.
Perfect.
I see people like, oh no, those are those members with the little S thing there. I think so.
Yes. Right? Yeah. Those are members.
You know, when it shows up as a paperclip on your when you're looking at it, then that's on your channel.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I just shared it on my channel, so maybe that'll.
I miss Clippy, the paperclip guy that used to come on.
Yes.
When you had questions about Word or Excel or PowerPoint, you could click on Clippy, and he would show up and do his little smart ass thing and tell you stuff. And I miss that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, good. Thank you guys for coming in and whatnot. So, are you ready for Christmas, Sherry?
As soon as I wrap everything behind me. That's why the screensaver's up.
Aha. Okay, then.
Nice. I got boxes and gifts and paper, and it's all spread everywhere. And since one of those gifts is going to this lady next to me, I had to make sure it was covered up.
Thank you. And how about you? Mel?
Well, we're leaving for the 23rd for Kentucky. I want to go see my great niece. She's 32, 33, and her daughter's. No, she's my great niece. My daughter's her daughter's my great niece. And so we're gonna spend. We're gonna stay in a hotel in Lexington the 23rd, 24th, the 25th. We'll be down there 3 or 4 days, and we'll come back home. But I just kind of wanted to see, my sister, my great niece, my great niece. My great niece came to Africa with us. But everybody's please send healing energies to my great niece. She's 32. She just found out that she has a malignant melanoma.
Oh, bless her heart.
And I guess it was pretty deep. So she has to go see a surgeon. I picked up that they were going to get it all out and it hadn't gone to any lymph nodes. But it's hard because I don't know if that was wishful thinking on my part. Anyway. Oh, thank you, Book Bewitched. She said, Auntie Mel, with whom I wish to hang. Okay, we can hang. It's okay.
Absolutely.
We're gonna go to Kentucky.
You should give Mark a call while you're in Kentucky. Spirit Whisperer. Mark Atha, Spirit Whisperer.
Okay,
he's our Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah.
He's a resident
animal communicator.
Yeah, he's our animal communicator.
Mark, I know his first.
I'll send you his info.
What's his last name again?
Atha, Atha. I've got it. I'll send it to you. I'm gonna put it on my pad right now.
I wonder where he is.
I think he's near Lexington.
Yeah, we'll be in Lexington. So
and,
I'm from Kentucky.
If memory serves, I know Lisa Foster is also in that area.
Lisa Foster is in Fairdale. That's a suburb of Louisville.
Okay.
Oh, they all use the Louisville address, but they have these little suburbs.
Yep.
I grew up in a suburb of Louisville, but I have family in Fairdale where she lives. So, but let me know. I'll take a look. Lexington's about an hour and a half from Fairdale. So.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure how far apart they are, but I know Mark is somewhere in that area, and because he lived in L.A.
So my best Christmas present will be that they get all the malignant melanoma, and that she's got clear margins, and that's what I'm hoping for. But
it feels like it, Mel. When you said it, I thought, oh, that's unfortunate, but it didn't feel like, it felt like an annoyance more than anything else.
Yeah,
big annoyance.
Big, huge annoyance. Yeah, but there you go. There you go.
Irritation.
So, yes.
Yeah, we got a lot of people in the house. Linda Bishop.
We do too. We do too. We've got 131 in here. So wow. Excellent. Thank you, all of you who have come in.
Water Lily.
Yes.
Patricia, Connie.
Yeah.
Jean, Nancy, Joe.
Lucas here. Paul.
Mary Hernandez.
Rose, Diane T. Donna O'Brien, Amanda Carrion, Debbie K.
You got a new member. Ness is in.
Sean Mueller.
Ness used to be a member and then she dropped off. So welcome back, Ness.
Yay,
nice to see you. Nice to see you back.
Gina M. likes the backgrounds.
Thank you.
Laura Hammond Davis.
Yes, she's here. Sean Mueller.
Yeah.
Andrea L. Mary Hernandez. Joe.
That lady.
Wow. Jean Rogers. Connie B. There are so many.
Third Eye.
Thank you all for being here.
Yeah. Happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah.
For sure.
And Ness says, yes, I came back. Thank you. Thank you for coming back.
Thanks for being back.
So this is information. You guys had a little more information about this than I did, which I think tells you how seriously I was taking the whole thing. But just when you thought that the eyes of the world are on Donald Trump and you can't get crazier than Donald Trump, a woman in Canada says, hold my beer.
Just what? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Woman in Canada says, hold my beer.
Oh, God.
Meaning, I can go lower. Okay. All right. So she calls herself the Queen of Canada. We don't have a queen. We have a king. His name is Charles, and he's king in name only. He's, on our currency and all that kind of good stuff. And this one is Trumpified to the nth degree. So, Mel, you said
she's not even a princess in training.
No. When Mel was telling us, she's, for those of you that are Canadian, all I have to say, and you'll understand she's from Saskatchewan. Okay. Yeah. Enough said. We all know.
If anybody in Saskatchewan is watching, we really are not against people from Saskatchewan.
No.
I don't even know where that's at. So
it's right next. It's right next to Alberta.
Yes, it is.
That tells me a lot. Okay.
I looked on the map. I think it's British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, going from west to
west to east. Yeah, absolutely. So,
I drew some cards real quick.
Sorry?
I said I drew some cards real quick on her.
It's just good. Okay. It's just frightening how people like that can get, in a way, the same thing that happened here is trying to happen in Canada.
Yeah.
My guides tell me if the people in Canada speak up, vote.
Oh, yeah.
And not get hung up into the xenophobia and blaming other people for everything, especially minorities. And this woman is a minority, by the way. I would say, don't get hung up in all that. And that you can prevent in Canada from happening in Canada what happened here.
Yeah.
What I do see in Canada and here is the end to these ultra right-wing Christian nationalist bigots, the fascists, who come to power by playing on people's fears. And I see a point where this QAnon crap will stop.
Yes.
Tell us what you really think, Mel.
And the people who promote it. So, this supposed, I wouldn't even call her, well, I will call her a queen, the queen of the outhouse. Okay.
Yes. Check.
People are thinking that she's gonna, she could beat Justin Trudeau, blah, blah, blah. I don't see that happening. So.
No, we don't do that here. It's you're either voting liberal, conservative, or independent. Independent doesn't normally do very well. So it's either liberal or conservative, and I don't think either one of those parties would have her. So she may not even make it on the ballot.
Canada does things a little different than the States. I think people vote for the parliament, and then the parliament votes for the prime minister. Is that correct?
No. We vote for the prime minister, himself. And we also vote for people that are running in the local elections, our local representative, right? So then whoever is voted in as prime minister is the prime minister, and then the other guys get, they become members of parliament and whatnot. But generally,
who votes for the parliament federally? The voters?
The voters vote, for the parliament.
So it's kind of like you vote for the parliament and then you vote for the prime minister. Got it.
Yeah, but that's whereas in the US you're voting for the you are voting for the president, but it has to go through the electoral college and all that. Well, we don't have that. It's just
you're voting for the president, and then we vote for the Senate and the House on the federal level and state level. They have their own as well. But anyway, I don't know. It's just frightening that people like her rise to prominence. But I don't know. Sherry, you pulled some cards. What did you come up with?
I did. The first one I pulled was the 6 of Wands.
Ooh.
So you're looking at someone with a lot of egotism, a lot of thinking that they're above all that, and that she's going to be the savior of the day.
But it's inverted. It's inverted, right, Sherry?
I'm sorry?
It's inverted. The card is inverted.
It's inverted. It's upside down, yes.
Okay, that's good.
And I normally don't get upside down cards.
Well, typically the other way up would mean victory, but it's inverted. It means she won't win.
Exactly. And then the next card I drew was the 10 of Wands, reversed, inverted, which again, that's talking about feeling like she's the one carrying the burden. But in the end, the last card I drew was the 9 of Pentacles, where it feels more to me like it's Canada that's going to, it's the people on a whole that's going to, that's going to come out ahead, so to speak. They're the ones that are going to be celebrating, not her.
Good.
Because, she's already got 2 against her, and this one's for the people. So,
hey, we've got Dan in the house. Dan is a wonderful artist. His artwork's amazing. And we've got Kevin Loving Vibrations.
Hey, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
I'm sorry, I just want to announce that.
Hello, Dan. Hello, everyone that has come in.
Oh, Dan's here too.
Yay. So glad you're spending time with us. And I think it was Jazzy Girl who said, the Queen of Canada has got an arrest warrant out against her. We Canadians have a reputation for being, we have a reputation for, being polite and being all that. And generally we are. We don't tolerate stupid.
But piss them off and look what happened.
No, we generally don't. We may not tell you that. Okay. And I was joking around about this with someone this afternoon. And I said, I'm not going to tell you you're an idiot, but I might say that you have an interesting point of view. So
or just say like we do down here. Well, bless your heart.
Bless your heart. I know. Yeah. So
sure you caught it. I was in the South where I come from, when we say bless your heart. Well, if it's somebody you love, you can say bless your heart. But if it's somebody that like we're talking about, it's like bless your heart and read between the lines.
For 3 words put together in a sentence, it has so many multitude of meanings, all depending on the tone and the inflection. And the topic, and there's a lot of power in those 3 little words.
Well, when you go like this, bless your heart.
Yeah,
be good.
Yeah,
bless your heart.
Yeah.
No,
exactly. So it's I don't think she's going to go very far. It doesn't hurt. Her energy is so low vibrating that there's it's not gonna get far.
I predict she'll last about as long as a snowball in Hades.
Exactly.
Which isn't long.
Exactly.
You know, Dan brought up a good thing, and I had in my notes here. Can I just that the Court of Appeals denied Mark Meadows' motion to move his Georgia-based trial into federal court. So
I had that starred. And I thought, yeah, that would be a great thing to look at.
Which many of us have predicted that Mark Meadows' case would stay in Georgia and not go to the federal court and go into federal court. And if it goes to SCOTUS, I don't even think they'll hear the case. So they'll agree with the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. And they were conservative judges that voted not to allow him to take it to federal court.
Yeah, because you know what? I think he was playing the game where he kind of, is he going to take it federal? No, he's not. Well, maybe he might. And, you know, looking at where he can get the better deal and all that kind of good stuff. It's almost like he was shopping around for a court.
Well, because he thought if it went to federal court, they would throw it out. Or if it went to federal court, and if he's convicted, when somebody if a Republican becomes president, like Cheeto Head, which is not going to happen, that he would be pardoned. So that's what he was thinking. But my guys told me it wasn't going to work for him to get into federal court. His butt is stuck in Georgia. Good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because
a huge message from the judges.
The federal government cannot pardon someone that's convicted in a state.
Yes.
Unless it's constitutional rights, but still.
As long as we're talking about Mark Meadows.
Yep.
Can we take a look at Mark Meadows and the binder, the missing binder? That apparently it was like 10 inches. So
all that stuff has been changed, but I think it was already passed off to somebody. You know, I think one's in Russia, and I see them finding it. Maybe not the original, but But I think they already have a good idea who got what and where, and I think they have a good idea of what was in it.
I think you're right. Yes. There was deliberate misinformation that was put in this thing so that it would leave a trail.
And it did.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Right back to them.
Now that you said that, Marina, it's funny because I remember a long time ago saying that they were going to come up with something where they would put misinformation, let somebody have it, and then they would be able to trace where it went to and who let it and who disseminated it. And that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, I think so. And you know, the fact that I think if I was Mark Meadows, I would definitely want to tell people where it is. And if he is holding out, waiting for a better deal, and those
days passed quite a while ago.
Like, you know, you've got information on Russia, and you've got information on what the US has on Russia and what Russia has on the US. It's all sort of in this binder, and you're going to hang on to that information and put literally lives on the balance so that you can get a better deal.
Well, people were.
What kind of a human being does that make you?
I mean, it exposed like a lot of the people that were spies working for the CIA and all of that stuff. And wow. You know, Kevin made a comment here. I feel like Meadows will try to make a deal, but I don't think Fawny is interested in giving a deal. She won't give him a deal.
No, she won't.
Nope.
No, you don't negotiate when you're ahead.
No, you don't.
Right? Yeah. And Water Lily had said earlier that her mom was from St. John's, Newfoundland. And I just want to say your mom is a wonderful person. I'm sure she is, because I have never yet in all my years, met someone from Newfoundland that I didn't like.
Do you pronounce it Newfoundland or
Newfoundland? Newfoundland. Yeah, but there are some that do say Newfoundland.
Newfoundland. I say Newfoundland.
No,
it's kind of the difference between saying New Orleans and New Orleans.
New Orleans.
I think it's pronounced New Orleans. If you're in New Orleans, it's pronounced New Orleans. Or where I'm from, we say Louisville. And when I hear people say Louisville, I'm like, oh, it's Louisville. Louisville. It's like Louisville. Like Louisville.
Yes.
It sounds like letters that aren't even in the word.
You got that right. Well, Kentucky is the only place in the world. They have a city called Versailles. In France, it's pronounced Versailles. In Kentucky, they pronounce it Versailles.
Versailles, yes. Perfect.
Versailles in French.
Yeah.
Kentucky is Versailles. Where are you
and
from?
Down here, it would be pronounced another way, totally different, because you got Cajun French.
Yeah.
I'm from.
And you're right, Water Lily. Up here in Canada, they're known as Newfies.
Newfies. There you go.
Newfies.
Well, the dog Newfoundland we call Newfies.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know with the French language, we have the International Festival des Acadiens every year. It's like a week-long festival.
I love
and
it.
we have musical groups that come from around the world. And with the first or second year that they hosted it, God, this was decades ago. Somebody caught it on one of the local newscasts, that were walking around with their cameras and just catching people. And it was a Canadian, a Frenchman, and a Cajun. And they were all standing there trying to talk to each other in French. And didn't one understand the other. And they had a fourth person there speaking in English, interpreting for each other. It's like, how crazy is that?
Absolutely. And yes, absolutely, Kevin. Yeah, prayers for the East Coast.
There's more flooding coming on the East Coast. I felt it, and a lot of us had predicted flooding on the East Coast.
Yeah, we had that storm system go through us a day and a half ago, and we spent a night of rocking and rolling. It was pretty rough. But
Sherry, do you say Louisiana?
Do I say what? I say
Louisiana.
I say Louisiana.
Louisiana, yeah, that's how we pronounce this. Louisiana. There's
a bunch of losers down here, but,
Yeah.
Nolans, Louisiana.
Yeah.
Nolans in Louisiana. That's it.
Go.
Yeah. And yeah.
Unless I'm speaking in my telephone voice,
prayers. Also, yeah. Keep in mind the people in Iceland who one of their volcanoes erupted. And that was about an hour after a small earthquake. So it's spewing lava. There's stuff happening. So, anytime that there's any kind of a disturbance like that, you never know how someone is affected by it. So just.
It was in Reykjanes, I think, Iceland. And it was 4,000 inhabitants. It's a it's a pretty good size for Iceland.
It is, yeah.
We were evacuated. I think it was something like Grindavik. Grindavik was the town that was evacuated, 4,000 inhabitants. But Reykjanes, if I'm pronouncing it, Reykjanes volcano in southwest Iceland. But they have a lot of volcanic activity there. In fact, they heat their homes from the volcanoes. They take pipes and put it into the volcano. And then there's water going through the pipes, and that water, the volcano makes the water hot, and they pipe it into their homes. It's pretty cool the way they do it.
Wow.
Cool. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, hello, Thomas.
I'm sorry?
No, just wanted to say hello to Thomas from Tarot Your Way, who's here.
And Wayne is here, and
Michelle from Astrological Tarot. And who else, Sherry?
Wayne Rich is here.
Hello, Wayne.
Wayne's been around forever and ever. He was a regular when I first stumbled onto this community.
Ian McGrath is here. He says federal judges have a life appointment. Metals does not. The next 6 weeks is going to get very hot in the U.S. Oh, you're right about that, Ian. Buckle your seatbelts. It's going to be a wild ride.
You know, the one thing that I take comfort in, and it's something that I've gotten when I've drawn cards, and something I've gotten hits on, is that I really feel like Roberts is suddenly aware in a way that he hasn't been before of how tarnished his legacy is going to be. Sorry. And I think that the court is going to not vote for some of the more extreme things on the right side, because I think he's worried about being, leaving the court and not being the great Pumbaa in the sky for it. He's very worried about his reputation and his legacy he's leaving behind, and it's getting more and more tarnished every day. And
yeah, they have a lot to overcome, don't they, SCOTUS? Yeah. Because their reputation is,
well, I
pretty much down the toilet.
Well, Clarence Thomas grab this one. Clarence Thomas made this thing about that a couple of Supreme Court justices said if they don't get a raise in their salary, that they're going to quit. And it was just, everything went up in a furor. And I'm like, wait a minute here. Clarence, you can make that statement all you want, but the bottom line is you don't have to worry about an increase in salary because you were getting so much money from your rich constituents.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
yeah. You know what? If they said that to me, I'd call them on it and say, yeah, you're right. No raise. Don't like it. There's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out.
Thank you.
Make room for
someone else. Don't let it hit you where the good Lord split you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, Book, thank you for reminding me, which I should have mentioned this in the beginning, but you know what? I'm so glad to have Sherry and Mel here with me that, totally forgot. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, whatever channel you're on. It really helps with the algorithm, and it just gets us in front of a lot more people who maybe are looking for something that we are offering, just don't know where to find it and how to find it. So when you do that, share, like, and subscribe, that's you help us along the way. And then after you're done in the room that you're in, go visit the other two and do the same thing.
Yep. So, and after the show is over, go in and leave a comment in everybody's comment section, even if it's nothing but a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
It doesn't matter. Just go leave something in the comments. That also helps boost the algorithm, which helps push out the shows so that it can get out to more people. And because that's the whole point. I mean, doesn't matter who has how many count or who does what or how many shows. It's just we're all on the same team.
Correct.
We're all on the same team, and we're all trying to help as many people as we can.
Yeah.
And following Linda's footsteps of trying to keep everybody calm.
Yes.
Stay calm. Keep your head on straight. It's going to work out.
Let the fear get behind us and push us forward, but we can't be complacent. We must go. Even Canada and the United States, because we don't want to happen in Canada what happened here. And it can if people aren't careful.
Yes, look at my state. We just had a major election a couple of months back, and it was the worst voters turnout in decades, multiple decades. And because of that, we got an ultra Trumper for a new governor coming in. We've got total control by the GOP in both the state House and Senate and the federal House and Senate. And it was because people just didn't show up to vote, and they did it on a Saturday. So it would make it easier for people to go and vote.
At some point, I see that changing in Louisiana. I really do.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember when Texas was blue, when Ann Richards was in charge. I was a kid, but she was somebody that all the women around were like, "That's our governor," kind of thing. So,
but I think with that whole abortion thing in Texas, that woman who had to terminal pregnancy, then the fetus died. And then they're going to say they're going to get her for abuse of a corpse. That is going to help turn Texas purple, because women there, Republican, Democrat, Independent, I'm telling you, are hopping mad.
And I'm sorry to say this, but when the first woman dies from this because she gets turned out by a hospital or a doctor's office because they're too terrified to do the medical procedures that need to be done to save her life, and she dies because of it, that's when the family needs to turn around and file charges of premeditated murder on every politician in the country who voted for this nonsense.
Well, there's women that are hopping mad, and people are tired of this American apartheid, this ultra right-wing group of Christian nationalists cramming their beliefs down everybody's throat, and the QAnon BS. And the people in Canada are going to get tired of it as well. So that's my prediction. But did you all hear today? This is hot stuff. That Ruby Freeman and Shane Moss, they're the ones that sued Giuliani. Yeah. And after they won, he wasn't smart enough to keep his mouth shut. Everything I said was true about them. They're suing him again.
Hot damn.
And guess what? They're going to win, my guides tell me.
Yes, they are.
44 million. I don't know. He'll probably try to go bankrupt and put money other places. But I do think they will get a substantial sum of money.
Yeah.
And if he cries broke, it ain't going to work.
And if the judge is smart, the first thing they'll do is stick some kind of a freeze on all their accounts so that
that's right.
He can't go moving money around.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think he's done. He's absolutely done. It's to the point that he is an embarrassment. He really truly is.
And so is Trump.
Yeah. Well, Trump goes without saying, because
if anybody else said what Trump said and the crap he's pulling, they would get nailed to a cross. I mean, Trump is saying that they spoil the blood of the country or whatever. That's what Hitler said in Mein Kampf. And people are saying, well, Trump, they didn't think he'd be able to read Mein Kampf. Well, he's getting advice from somewhere.
And how do we know what Mein Kampf says? Because we read books that they want to ban.
Yes.
Right. Nobody's
agree with it or not.
Right? I didn't see anybody in Florida banning Mein Kampf.
No.
Which in German means my struggles, but Hitler wrote it when he was in jail. So they should ban.
And apparently I read today, and it reminded me, yes, I had heard about this quite a long time ago, that in 1990, when original wife Ivana was filing for divorce, one of the things that in terms of that she was putting forth in terms of the reason that she wanted the divorce was some physical and mental cruelty. And the mental cruelty was, she said, that he kept Adolf Hitler's speeches by the bedside and read them regularly.
Wow.
Now, when I heard that, I kind of thought, well, I wonder if maybe she's just tossing that in there just because. In light of what's going on, I think, yeah, that's exactly what he was doing. That's where he's getting his information. That's where he's drawing. Yeah, totally. And Joe says, I need to show okay, I will show this, and I'll let you guys in on how you can get it. Okay. So I did a video on why your vote matters and why it's important to vote and so on and so forth. And I started off the show, and I had this little graphic that I was showing, and it was something that I picked up right after the 2016 election, 2016. So here you go. There it is. There's the pie chart. Okay. And basically what it says was, for the 65 million voted Democrat, 62 million voted Republican, and 108 million better start to give a shit.
I agree.
So as I was playing with that, and I got some comments on the video saying, wow, you know, that needs to be on a lot of things. So I ordered some stickers. They're 5x3. And this is the one that says, don't, what does it say on top? Don't let history repeat itself in 2024. Okay. The other sticker says, if you think voting doesn't matter, talk to someone who has never been given that privilege.
Ooh, I like that.
And that kind of, as I was playing with the pie chart thing, that's the message that I got. So I ordered a few of these for your favorite Democrat. Get ready. $7.50 includes postage, and I will send you one of each.
And how do they get them, Marina?
Oh, send me an email at heartcenteredtarot@outlook.com, and I'll try to put it in there in the links. Yeah, just send me an email, and you can include your address and all the information in the email. Okay, and then I'll direct you to the PayPal website. You can have, you can have more than one. Absolutely. But I only have 100 of each. So yeah, act fast.
Something tells me you'll sell out pretty fast.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I think that the pie chart doesn't really resonate or doesn't have a lot to do with us in Canada, but it does point out the importance of voting. You can't sit back and say, oh, well, you know what? One politician is as bad as the other. No, sometimes you need to hold your nose to do the right thing for everyone around you, not just to please yourself. So keep that in mind, and I will put the where are we here?
Oh, William Rich asked a good question. He says, is Clarence Thomas complaining about a raise and is used to leave? You know what, Wayne? That's a really good question, because when I read that, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, he's going to use that as an excuse to get off the court but once he's off the court, I still see investigations and all kinds of stuff.
So, for sure.
Yeah, they keep doing things that they think is going to magically make all the problems go away if they just pack up and go take their toys and go home. And I think a lot of them just haven't come to the realization yet. You're still in trouble.
Exactly.
The law is still going to pursue you.
Just because you resign from the position doesn't make you immune from being
That's right.
What about, people are really asking a lot, Putin's speech, that was Putin, by the way, but it was all propaganda. It was all carefully orchestrated. People forget Putin was an old KGB guy, and they excelled at misinformation. And so when he said, oh, we're pushing hard into Ukraine, blah, 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 people are wondering about funding for Ukraine. And I just saw that they don't think they're going to get the funding package passed for whatever until after Christmas. But I see funding coming to Ukraine from this country. And I see a lot of funding coming to them from NATO and the European Union. And that's why Putin wants Trump to win, because Putin knows that he's got Trump in his hip pocket, and he can get Trump to try to weaken NATO and try to weaken the European Union. And that gives Putin power in Europe. But it's not going to work.
And so that's what he tried to do before
in this country. And the rest, and a lot of other places in the world as well.
That's what Putin tried to have done before Biden won the office. Was
correct.
They thought for sure. I mean, Trump was already working on Zelensky, letting him know, well, if you want to play ball with us, then you're going to have to do A, B, C, D. And Zelensky was like, excuse me, no.
Yeah.
And but if it hadn't been for Biden winning, I don't know what kind of magic juju that man has in his back pocket, but the fact that he got all of these countries that are in NATO to reconfirm and get gung-ho again, And then have countries that have always said we don't want no part of it. Suddenly they're knocking on the door saying we want in. You know, I mean, that's a pretty major accomplishment in my book. And a lot of people just kind of gloss over it.
Do you all feel that Ukraine will get the funding?
Yes,
I do. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Biden has already found 200 million from a program that he could. He didn't need to have approval to access, so he has already said, yeah, that's going to Ukraine.
What was the comment you had up by somebody, McGrath? I forgot, that said that Biden would have to win by how many millions so they would say it wasn't rigged? 12 million or however many.
By 12 million. You know what?
But you know what, Marina?
He could okay. Biden could win
by 100 million, and they would say it's still rigged. No matter, you know, they're still going to say it was rigged, and it's just going to be another playback of what happened in the last election
of 2016. And yet, the idea is, make sure that you get out there, make sure that you vote blue. Vote blue no matter who. Right?
Well, I don't know. I just don't see, if Trump runs, I'll be very surprised. I could be wrong. But if he's convicted, I don't know if he can run. I don't know the law well enough. But I see a lot can change between now and next November.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. And so I see a real, I can say this probably, I see a real shit show coming.
You know what is, I did a reading not too long ago, and it felt, and I think it might even have been with Susan Lin, to be honest with you, where I got a feeling that no, there's something happens with Trump around March, April, where he either has a stroke or there's a brain bleed or there's something in his head is pierced. That's what it felt like, pierced, and I was getting swords.
For entertainment purposes only, YouTube.
Yes, entertainment purposes only. Thank you very much. Thanks for reminding me. I'm going to put the banner up right now because you're absolutely right. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I just see Ukraine getting the funding, and you know, Putin's not going to do as well as he's telling everybody he's doing. You know, so.
No.
And this whole thing with Gaza, I think at some point will be settled as well. You know, I see Netanyahu in a lot of trouble, and I see him gone. So I think he's
him and all his
along this so that can just divert attention away from him.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
exactly. And I were just talking about that. The eclipse is coming up that's going to shake things up. But I know the last couple of times that I've read on it and pulled cards on it, I just don't see Trump after May at the outside latest.
Okay.
It's like he's just not there. I don't know what that means.
You're right.
You know, I mean, allegedly, I don't know if that just means he's completely incapacitated or he's gone home to be with Ivana, or if, you know, I don't know, but I don't see him, and my cards aren't showing me him after May.
Okay. So, you know, did you guys hear about the Pope Francis said that priests can administer blessings to same-sex couples as long as the blessings aren't part of regular church rituals or liturgies, which doesn't seem like much, but that's a huge step forward for the Catholic.
It is.
I had a friend of mine who's gay online, and because I posted it, you know, and I said, well, finally they did something right, you know, and the response I got from my friend was, yeah, well, you know, it's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black or whatever. And I said, hey, I look at it this way. Any step in the right direction is a good step, and I'm going to call them for it. I said, I like Pope Francis, and I'm not Catholic anymore, you know, but I like Frank. He's
But when I read that, my psychic light bulb went on, and I kept seeing white smoke coming out of the chimney at the Vatican. And I'm thinking there will probably be a new pope within the next couple years.
Yeah.
Pope Francis is around for a long time, but I think he's in a wheelchair. I think his health isn't that good. But I think
that's what happens when you elect a 90-year-old, or you insist on electing people who are, they got their foot on the door, holding back the Grim Reaper. I
think the next pope will be a pope that will reform the church. And my psychic light bulb went on, and I kept seeing a third Vatican Council. I think the second Vatican Council was a Pope John or Pope Paul. I forget. Whatever. I think it was in 1962 or 63 when he pulled together Vatican II.
Oh, probably.
But I see the third Vatican Council. And I'm thinking women are going to be able to hold a lot higher positions in the church.
Yes.
A point where they will allow priests to marry. Yay, they should be able to. And a whole new era coming in the church to accept people that are diverse, LGBTQ. So I think the new pope will be a tremendous reformer. Francis, I think, is paving the way for that. So today, to a lot of people, doesn't sound like much, but I want to tell you something. It was a milestone. It really was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
Yeah,
definitely. And with Sherry, I like this pope. I really do.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd bring that up because it was in the news.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kevin had, he said, I don't see Putin well enough to do a 4-hour speech.
Well, I think it was Putin, but that's where we disagree. So
yeah. And you know what? I'm right
and
there.
You may both be right.
Yeah, I didn't think that it was Putin. There was just teeny tiny little mannerisms that were just kind of, out of whack. One of them in particular was this guy looked at the wrong arm to check his watch.
I still think it was Putin. I really do. Yeah. But here's where we agree to disagree. People can have a heart attack and still do a 4-hour speech. Yeah. But here again, and that happens in our community. We can have disagreement and still respect each other. So
exactly. We're not out to hurt or maim because you don't think the same way that I do.
But
I had one of my nephews very hard right, and this was back when Obama was still in office, and we would get in arguments on Facebook sometime, and one day he pulled the personal card, and I jumped all over him. I was like, look, we can argue till the cows come home politically all you want, but it stays there. You don't make it personal, because then you've stepped over the line. I said, if it gets to the point that there's just no conclusion, then we just simply have to say, I agree to disagree, and you walk away from it.
But I think
about 2 days later, he sent me a message and he said, you know what, you're right, and I'm sorry. And it's once that happened, it's like we both of us started to discover that there was a lot of things that we both agreed on how they should be done, even though we were coming at it from two different directions.
Well, I think that we all agree that Putin is in ill health and he's not going to be around for a long time. So, I totally agree with that. And I think that event he had was probably a heart attack, but they're really good at misinformation. And who's to say? Now, Kevin might have a point. And my psychic light bulb just went on when Kevin said that he didn't think that Putin would be able to last for 4 hours. But who's to say that parts of that weren't pre-recorded and that they weren't done months ago and put together exactly when they need it? So I'm sure they've got a lot of B-roll stuff in the background of Putin doing stuff like this. And who knows how it was edited. So that's what I get.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the room. So honestly, that you could have a very, very valid point. Now, I know that they said that there was people there who could ask questions, and it was the first time that it was open to questions and
open
whatnot.
to questions because there were people that they put in that room and told them what questions to ask. But we don't know when that was filmed. We don't know if that was live. I think it was done quite a while ago, or pieces thereof.
You have a point there, my friend. I didn't think of that. So
I'm sure that there was a lot of them that they put together like that.
Yeah.
You know, and so they can play it when they need it. And, you know, who's to know if it's live? You know, or were you in that room on this day? Oh, yes, of course. Of course, somebody's going to say that.
Yeah. Exactly. It's the same as, like, you know, when we do a recording and then we upload it and then we go live.
Correct. Exactly. So I think, you know, Kevin had a point. Maybe Putin isn't well enough for that 4-hour thing. But it hit me just now that I think a lot of that was pre-recorded, pre-done. And I think they have numerous ones. See, Putin's alive and well. Here he is.
There you go.
And it was all
talk about Weekend at Bernie's.
And Michelle from Astrological says the 2024 eclipse that takes place in Putin's 12th house of loss, death, spirituality. Just saying. Well, listen, from your astrological chart to wherever it has to go, I never, ever, ever, you know, wish anything bad to happen to someone, but I would not be upset if I heard the news of his passing. I must be honest. So there.
Oh, Wayne Rich just made this great comment. I like this one. Hitler's speeches were aimed at third grade mentality. What's that tell you about MAGAs?
Good. We do good if most of them can read that high.
Very good. Excellent. I like that. I like that. Perfect.
I don't know if you saw it or if you have any starred, Marina, but CC Ryder just had a good question that she put up at 7:56 my time, so 5:56 your time.
CC Ryder. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Alrighty. Where will Alex Jones be 1 year from now? He has not paid Sandy Hook parents any part of the $1 billion judgment.
Well, he's appealing it, but he's going to have to pay.
Yeah.
If not, they could probably lien a lot of his properties and holdings. And so, you know, you don't want to mess with that. I mean, he's just playing the waiting game and the appeals game, but he's going to lose on all fronts.
Yeah. Okay. Where will Alex Jones be? Wow.
Well, if he doesn't pay, he could be held in contempt of court. So
he might be not paying from jail.
There you go. But they can still force him to pay.
Yes.
Against him.
Yeah.
It may take. Oil prices are surging because British Petroleum has paused shipments through the Red Sea because of increased attacks on commercial vessels from this group in Yemen. So it's going to cause oil prices to go high. Notice how a lot of these terrorist activities increase right before an election year.
It's coincidence. It's just a coincidence.
You think so?
No. No, that's just like gas prices always go up, you know, a couple cents before a long weekend.
Exactly.
You know,
what I do see in this country and in Canada as well is an end to the price gouging. And I see legislations in both countries passed to prevent this price gouging because it's really crazy. Because they take their prices up, but they never come back down, except for gas. So I see an end to that at some point, or a cap put on it.
Yes.
What do you think, Sherry?
You know what? As soon as you said cap, I kind of thought, yeah, that's it. Yeah, like boom, that's it. We have to, it can't go more than that. And I think maybe some of the money could be invested in alternative forms of fuel, in that kind of stuff. But yeah, this can't go on. Like the oil companies are making barrels, literally barrels of money. And you're right, Mel. They, well, the price of this went up, so we have to increase it. But when the price of that goes down, they don't say, oh, it went down by 3 cents. We're passing it on to you.
Yeah, no, that doesn't. It's like when the MAGA people ran around everybody's towns putting those Joe Biden stickers on the gas pumps saying, I did this. I tell you what, when gas prices started plummeting and coming down, I never saw stickers get removed so fast in my life.
Right.
Usually they never come off. They stay there 10 years later. You're still looking at a sticker somebody stuck on there. Those came down real quick because they don't want people realizing, somebody was griping the other day about gas. And I said, what are you talking about? I said, it's like $1 a gallon cheaper than it was 6 months ago or a year ago. I said, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
is. It's much, 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 much better. And it's much better all over the place, right? It's just we're so used to hearing from the news media and the different channels that no, things are not good. And this is the way that it's a way to control the narrative. It's a way to control the population. If everyone is saying the same thing, unless you really kind of do your homework, unless you have some discernment, you're thinking, well, I heard it on 3 or 4 channels that things are worse off today than they were 3 years ago.
Do y'all ever watch?
Now I'm unemployed, so well, maybe that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Do y'all ever watch Last Week Tonight with John Oliver?
Absolutely.
Comes on HBO Max on Sunday nights.
I didn't see.
He did a thing last night that was absolutely brilliant. The way he put it up with this very thing, of how the news itself is so responsible for not bringing it out to the public of all the positive things that are done. Yes. And I mean, and he was like rolling through a ticker tape of things that Biden has done and has done well and that he's caused improvement for. It was just, I was like, damn, man, we need to get more people on our side getting out there and saying it.
Well, that's exactly what I see.
Camera in your face, start saying it.
That's exactly what I see coming during this election year, that there's going to be a lot more Dems who are going to be a lot more vocal and say, before Biden, here's what happened. And now after Biden, here's the positive stuff of that. I mean, I'll tell you.
It's like those 2 little guys from Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia. Where is it? The ones that they tried to kick out. And
that was in Georgia.
Revoted. Was it in Georgia? The 2 young black men that were represented.
Yeah. Look what they
did. Then there's a couple of young black women in the Texas legislature. I don't know if it's state or federal House seats. They're not pulling any punches. I mean, these women are flat out putting it in their faces. I know one of them, Marjorie. No, it was Lauren Boebert was saying some ridiculous nonsense. I don't know. And it was this representative's turn to talk. And I can't think of her name right now. And she said, first, let me apologize for my colleague who doesn't have enough brains to apologize when she's wrong. I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe she just said that. And then she proceeded to go down every point that Boebert had made and countered it with facts. I mean, and it was like right there off the top of her head. She knew her stuff. She didn't have to stop and look it up or read it off a piece of paper. She knew her stuff. I mean, it's like we need more people.
I see a lot more Dems and independents doing that.
Yeah.
And speaking up and saying, wait a minute, and talking about the stuff that the MAGA is trying to pull. And I think I'll tell you who I think is going to be someday will be president, will be very vocal. And that's Wes Moore in Maryland. He's the governor of Maryland. That man's going to be president one day. My psychic light bulb keeps blinking on that one.
Yeah.
I see a lot more Dems coming out speaking. Barack Obama's going to start speaking up. A lot of people. Liz Cheney's even going to come out and talk more anti-Trump. So a lot of people are going to start. You know, I don't like Chris Christie, but I'll say one thing: he had the chutzpah to speak out against Trump. You know, he
did, and he defended Nikki Haley when Vivek Ramaswamy attacked her basically during the debate, and he defended her. And I thought, okay, you know what, we may not agree on a lot of things, but
he can be a gentleman.
That's the right thing to do. Right? It's the right thing to do, to say, no, I will not sit here and listen while you put someone down or call them names or whatnot. We can disagree on policy, but don't make it personal.
Like my husband used to tell our son when he was a little boy and would act up, and he would just look at him and say, you are a Southern gentleman and you will behave as such. And that means there are certain rules you don't bend and you don't break. You know, sometimes I think that's something that we've got a whole generation of young men that are probably more our age group that seem to have lost that knowledge of what it is to be a proper lady or gentleman. I mean, not that that's all that important, but it's the moral standing of what they mean by that terminology. And it's now it's like our kids and grandkids ages that are coming up saying, oh, whoa, back up. It's time to get some facts out. And the Democrats, when they take back control, when Biden wins again and they get back control of the House and keep the Senate, they need to seriously start setting some laws into place as far as what the news media is allowed to say and publish, that they're going to have to start backing it up. You know, if you get on air and start spouting this nonsense, you better be prepared to show proof of it. I mean, that's the way it used to be. And it got us, you know, that's what made the press what is it, the fourth, fifth wheel of how our whole democracy was set up, was because it depended upon the freedom of the press reporting the news. But if you got them running around worried about clicks and how much money they can make off of it, then they're not reporting what needs to be reported, and they're not following the news. They're not being journalists, you know. And that's something that, you know, you don't have Dan Rathers anymore,
or Walter Cronkite,
anymore, or Jay Morrow.
News in those days, it wasn't op-ed; it was all news.
Exactly,
and that's the way it is. Remember?
Yeah, exactly. And it's because it wasn't monetized. The laws stated at that time, the FCC laws, was that every station had to allot so much time per day for the general public to get the news and the facts. And it had to be just the facts, no opinions, none of that other stuff that got counted off somewhere else. But they had to provide a certain amount of airtime for all networks to be able to put forth the news.
Yeah, Sherry says it was a fairness doctrine. Reagan got rid of it.
Thank you.
I see that coming back at some point.
I was drawing a blank on what they called it.
I see it coming back at some point.
Yeah, I do too.
Totally. We have to kind of put up some guardrails, right? Like, I don't think that the U.S. should ever be in this position ever again, right? Yeah. You don't want history to repeat itself. So
this is reminiscent.
Put up some guardrails, and yes, when the Dems are in, put some things on paper. Make sure that, you know, you can't have someone that can come in and say, no, I don't go for that. And, you know, and I understand why the founders didn't want to have any kind of litmus test for somebody to run for office, because they wanted people to be aware of the fact that anyone could run for office. But
going forward, there needs to be some kind of at least making sure that people have a basic understanding of how in the hell their government works. You know,
pass a citizenship test. If you can't pass a citizenship test that you expect an immigrant to pass in order to become a citizen, you can't pass it, you don't get to run.
Most people in this country that are citizens couldn't pass the citizenship test. They'll ask, what were the original 13 states? Not colonies, but states. Who's the mayor of your town? Not in Chicago. I live in Glenview.
Yeah.
And so it's the mayor of my town, you know, or who's your representative? Most people don't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, they ask
3 branches of government.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Most people don't know that. Legislative, executive, and judicial.
Or that the post office is the only organization outside of government itself that is mentioned in the Constitution and is set up so that it doesn't rely upon taxpayers' money. A lot of people are always talking about, oh, well, they're using up all our taxes. And it's like, they don't use any of our taxes. They operate strictly on the money they raise.
Self-funding.
They're self-funded. And
I just think there's going to be some sort of vetting process, is what I see. I don't know if the test would work because that could be discriminatory, but I think there's some sort of vetting process. You know,
that's. And if you can't pass a security check, then you shouldn't be able to run for office.
I agree with that.
You know, I mean,
totally.
That's just, that should be a given.
Well, what I see is an end to this American apartheid that's going on. It's going to be, we're kind of like what it was in the McCarthy era. Everybody was a communist, and now everybody is a communist or supporting the Middle East or whatever. Everybody is awoke, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I see, it took a few brave souls to speak up against McCarthy, Joseph McCarthy. Yeah. That's exactly what I see coming in this country. And it's going to happen when the Democrats and independents become really vocal and say, we've had enough. Yes. And that's what I see coming.
Yeah, they have been, the Democrats have been a little too polite, where the Republicans kind of go in like, a bull in a china cabinet, doing whatever they can to get attention to themselves. The Democrats kind of walk in and it's like, oh, excuse me, can I get by? Can I do this? They're very accommodating and they don't want to appear like they're argumentative and all that. There comes a time when you need to be that. There comes a time when you have to sort of, draw the line in the sand and say, no, enough. Like you want to fight dirty, you want to get in the muck, fine. And point out some things that, that they are doing right, that everyone is saying, oh, no, this is wrong. This is, Biden did this, Biden administration did that. Nonsense. Like the reason, Hunter Biden was indicted because they want to protect him. That is the biggest crock of BS I've ever heard.
Like Hunter Biden isn't a public official.
They're going
to run for any office.
It's Trump's way of getting even, okay? And it's here again, it's, the 3 Ds, they're doing it to deceive, divert, detract, distract, divide. That's what it is. It's a distraction. If Hunter Biden is guilty and is found guilty, then okay, let him do whatever he has to do according to the sentence he receives. But meanwhile, the people that are pointing fingers at Hunter Biden are the same people that won't go against Trump and all those insurrectionists and all of the crimes that they have committed, that Trump has committed, and all those people. So the hypocrisy is just overwhelming to me.
They won't show up for their subpoenas. They've been subpoenaed and they ignore it.
And then they're talking about, and it was fine for them, but no, Hunter can't do it. The double standards in this country will end, and I see it ending quickly.
Good.
Very quickly. That's what my guides tell me. And so
I like that. I like your guides.
And I hope it's tomorrow at 2:30.
Yes.
Okay,
folks, we have been on for an hour and 12 minutes. And I am so, so grateful to each and every one of you for being here, for spending time with us, for your comments and the sharing that you've done with each other. And yes, by all means, go over to Sherry's channel tomorrow. Mel is going to be joining her.
So we're going to drag Arthur along with us.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and tomorrow at 7 Mountain Standard Time, I'll be joined by David, Tarot by the Bay, where we do our bi-weekly Taco Tuesdays. Taco Tuesdays. And then we've got other things happening during the week. And are you doing anything?
Tarot is Wednesday.
Yes. And how about Mel? Are you doing anything you want to highlight?
Wednesday with Kim Copeland. Thursday, I think Kevin Chandler is going to be on my channel. And then Monday typically, Linda Grindle and I did a show today. She had to cut it short because she had to run to the doctor. But we're not going to do a show on Monday because that's Christmas. And so
I'm going to do a live pop-up Christmas afternoon, like around 4 o'clock-ish. What did Santa bring is what I'm calling it, and just hang out and everybody can talk about what they did for Christmas Day, after everybody's opened presents, ate and took a nap, then come hop on and we'll just hang out for a little while and do nothing.
I think
if you want to hop on with me, let me know. I'll send you the link.
I think what I'll do is just pre-record a show and just upload it, or set it to schedule it to show Christmas Day.
There you go.
Perfect.
I'll be in Kentucky, so I don't know how well the internet's going to respond. Because some places down there is like the internet and cell phone stuff is really sketchy.
Yeah.
And it's hilly where we're going to be, and that's what I love.
Tomorrow during the day, I'm going to have Lori from A Way of Positive Change. Is going to be on my channel with me.
Cool.
I'm really excited about that. So I've been watching her a long time. I finally got the nerve up to email her and ask her. On my show.
Here in Illinois, it's flat, but I miss Kentucky geographically is beautiful. I do miss the hills. And so even though there's inconveniences about being in the hills, internet, things like that, I'm still looking forward to it.
Perfect. So again, don't forget, everyone, like, share, and subscribe, whatever channel you're watching this on. Then make sure you go over to the other channel, do the same thing, thumbs up, do the, leave a comment after the show on the channels. Even if it's just a thumbs up, it counts. Believe me, it counts. So for those
you can support any of our channels, a couple of dollars here or there. I think we all have PayPal accounts or whatnot listed. It helps keep everything running, So
absolutely.
Hit that bell. There's a bell, and that lets you know when we're coming on. And that subscribe button below, and then the thumbs up, and leave a comment. Something positive, please.
Something positive. Absolutely. And for those of you that I'll see some of you later, and if I don't see you before Christmas, all the very best of the holiday season, and may 2024 be the fulfillment of everything that you are hoping for. So thank you, Sherry, thank you, Mel, thank you everyone for being here, and we'll see you later. Bye.